Hello, this is Rubix, and today I am going to be continuing reading my story, Gamer's Guide to Ever After. As usual, the previous recordings will be in the description down below, but yeah, let's just get right into it. So, Chapter 5, Happily Never Afterlife. So, when the reader first gets to this chapter, they will see that we switch over to Meadow's perspective for the first time, but as you will see, it switches between two specific pickers, which wonder what that's all about. But yes, in her eyes, she left you something in a blue sticky note. Sometimes I wonder, is it truly possible to say thank you a million times? Her mouth lowers itself to your ear. I want you to follow the purple one and kill him. Come again? Begins the play. Your hands trembled. No matter how hard you tried to stop them, they kept shaking. Suddenly, a knife spawns in your hands and cures you of your constant fidgeting. You exchange eyes with the voice as your heart plummets, and the reader would then see this graphic. Ios? How could he possibly be smiling at a time like this, you wonder? And in the sparkle text, it's your old pal Fari. Your vision peers over the knife you just received. And the reader would then see this other graphic. You obtained a bloody knife. It's stained with the blood of your friend Rush. You know what you have to do. You glanced at the hallway leading to communications and chased after Leon. And in the sparkle text, Layla, where are you going? Is there somebody calling out for you? You couldn't tell. Everything around you becomes devoid of life. All you could hear in your eardrums was the sound of a rapid heartbeat. And this heart wasn't even yours, so why keep pretending? ... And there he is. And in the sparkle text, Lila, I'm so glad to see you. Is everyone else okay? He saw you come in. And he spots the little gift you have for him in your hands too. And the reader will then see this graphic. ... And then the sparkle text. What are you doing? Please don't make this harder for me than it already is, Leon. Lila, stop! Can you even hear me? Please don't make this harder for me than it already is, Leon. Get away from me! Please don't make this harder for me than it already is, Leon. I said, I'm sorry. Please, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then we will then see this graphic. The while Leon fainted, Lila gained 124 EXP. Leon? I murmur, breaking out of my trance. I sauntered towards him and turned the side of his head towards me. There was a blankness in his eyes. His throat was slit open too. No response. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to. Hey, knock it off. This isn't funny, I wail, as I aggressively rattle him by the shoulders. No response. I knew it was too late. I fucked up. Hard. No. Stars, please no. I didn't mean to. No matter how many times you tried talking to Leon's dead body, a corpse was a corpse. Sorry, Lila. I fell to my knees. My blood swelled inside my head. My toes and fingers felt numb as I tried to massage them awake. All I remember is the world falling silent as I closed my eyes and fainted from shock. And an unknown amount of time passes by, and traveling back into consciousness, my eyes began to flutter open as I heard a duet of footsteps enter the room. Or were they leaving? I couldn't tell. All I knew was that I had a shitty migraine that wouldn't go away. As my vision reached clarity, I studied the red and orange spacesuit standing in front of me. It was Gus and Gabrielle. They didn't seem to notice me. Where are they going? Don't leave me here, begins to play. Before I could call after them, a dumpster-driven odor filled my lungs as my attention swerved to the right. ... Gus? Gabrielle? Gabrielle? I called as their feet became rooted in place. What happened to Leon? I cried. Why is he lying in a pool of blood? Gabrielle's face began to darken. All she could muster for me, without even turning back, was, I'm sorry. Promptly, she grabbed her brother by the wrist and began trailing out of communications. Hearing her apology rooted me in place. How could you possibly forget what you did to Leon? Drunken by her self-hate, I weakly pushed myself with my wrists towards Leon's mangled body as the putrid smell of death became more and more vivid. I placed a hand over his back and closed my eyes, reciting my prayers as I began to weep in this intergalactic graveyard I've dug for myself. And a few moments later, at the time I didn't even hear his footsteps. Staring awake, I saw the legs of a blue spacesuit positioned before me. My heart plummets to my stomach. I screamed in terror and began kicking my feet at his shins in a desperate attempt to get away. I could see him skip playfully closer and closer to me as I backed away, yelling like every helpless idiot did in the movies. Please, I did what you asked me to do. Spare me. Suddenly, a black glove was placed against my lips as it hushed me. Shakily, my eyes fidgeted upwards as Iris winked at me with a sort of childishness in his attitude. No worries, Amiga. I promise this will be quick and painless. Just for you, Lila. I noticed his voice sounded profusely different. Almost like it was a little girl speaking for him. I recognized this voice anywhere, not wanting to believe it was real. Fari? I murmur unconsciously. The mere mention of this name causes the blue figure to flinch as their eyes flash with malice, and they raise their knife to attack. No, 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 stop! And the reader will then see this graphic. They giggled once more as their stomach tore open. Rather than being stabbed, a tentacle-like tongue pierces your chest and claims the heart your creator gave you. Sweet dreams, Cyan. And the reader will then see this graphic. Esther held the door wide open as Meadow carried the god's not-so-heavy body along the carpet. My dear friend closed the door behind her and kissed almost immediately. Yeesh, girl. What was that all about? I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to be the fucker into next year, but you went at him. And Meadow opened her mouth like she wanted to say something before realizing she couldn't. She then dragged Cyrus's light body back to his post before entering writing mode inside that sticky notepad she always carried. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. You hand the sticky note to Esther as they squint in an attempt to decipher your handwriting. Reading this message only caused the concern in their brow to raise even more. Esther reached inside their pocket and pulled out a red and glossy 20-sided die and crushed it in their palm as the pixelated numbers +4 manifested to the right of their head. They then began to examine Meadow closely. Before declaring, "You're not okay." To this day, Meadow still doesn't understand how the Dragon siblings could just tell us something was wrong by letting Dai call all the shots. But I suppose some mysteries are better left unknown. Esther gently tugs Meadow by the cuff of her sleeve and brings the two of them a bit further down the hall. They settle along a pillar as Esther queries, "Well, don't leave your bestie hanging. What's up?" The slow grasp begins to reach over Meadow's shoulder, leaving enough time for her to swat it away if that isn't what she wanted, but she doesn't resist. Their palm gently squeezed her shoulder as it shifted from side to side, and "That's what friends are made for" begins to play. look on their face. They were worried about you. No matter how many years have passed since you reincarnated inside Inferno, you can never get used to other people expressing this much concern for you. And despite everything you've done, did you truly deserve this? You place a fidgety hand against her chest. Slowly but surely, you feel your familiar heartbeat slow. You close your eyes and hold your head high, allowing all the stress within you to huddle inside your nose. Exhaling, you allow your nostrils to ventilate like an invisible steam cloud of negativity as you watch her fly away. You reach inside your pocket for the same pen and begin inscribing your thoughts via sticky note. This is what it read. That mug the two of you bought looked very, very similar to the person who betrayed me. You pluck the note off and give it to Aster, accidentally giving them 2 instead of 1. You watch as their eyes and lips widen with shock. You become anxious of how they'd reply, given everything they knew about your story. Aster's lips began to part, their throats stammering underneath their breath. From Meadows' perspective, it looked like their eyes were having a seizure. And in the sparkle text, maybe I should tell her, no, that might be insensitive, actually. Or how about, maybe, oh, for fuck's sake. Fumbling for the right words to say, Aster gives up and instead chooses to tackle you into their warm embrace. One by one, those watery droplets come crashing down. Meadow's face became swarmed with tears of her lamentable past as she embraced her friend back. She removes her shades and begins flicking off those annoying tears streaming down her cheek. Thank you for telling me, Meadow. I know it must have been hard, Aster murmurs. And in the sparkle text, I want to tell her that I'll always be there for her, but I don't even know if that possibility will ever bear fruit after tomorrow. Being reborn as a mute made it so much harder to express their sadness like you were used to in your previous life. Meadow sucks light air from her teeth and exhales into their pending silence. Her heartbeat began to beat slower and slower until you knew for sure you felt okay. Finally, Aster withdrew from their hug and surveyed Meadow's face. Better? They asked. Meadow nods. Look, I know we all tend to get carried away sometimes, and usually I'm not one to suggest this for Loki of all people, but I think he deserves an apology. Meadow bobs her head, willing to hold herself accountable. Aster rises to their feet and extends their patient hand for Meadow to take it. They cock their head towards the door and say, Come on, let's go back together. There's this lonesome feeling stirring inside of the heart that was yours now. And in the sparkle text, you were really going to miss Aster and Glitch. Meadow laces her fingers around Aster's as they take off. And a few minutes earlier, we finally switch over to Noah's perspective. In her eyes... Hang on, I'm pulling out an eyelash. Okay, now I'm ready. After wrapping up her own apology to Loki, Nova was still dumbfounded by Meadow's unprecedented behavior earlier. She'd never seen this girl beat up someone up for her, at least not to that extent. As she tries ripping up the right conclusion, her mind wanders off to the juicy-licious exchange happening between Glitch and that brown-haired baddie they snuck into the room. Nova's theme begins to play. Are you hurt anywhere? Glitch asks, before realizing how dumb of a question that was. Loki baskets Glitch's hand and presses it against his cheek. I wouldn't mind some of Glitch's premium healing, he says with a nonchalant air, and Nova studies Glitch's reactionless ass to this interesting gesture. And the radio will then see this loading thing. Now hang on, wait a minute. Processing the fruit in the room. Nova claps a loud hand over her mouth and fumes. Ain't no way, dog. Did bro finally fall in love with the intruder? A man, no less? And this accidentally catches the eye of Glitch as they raise their brow in Nova's direction. Pivoting her index between Glitch and the cutie, she mouths, "Okay, Gorilla Pop. Did we skip a few chapters? Or are you in this brown hair, Betty? You know." Glitch's mouth becomes agape as they fumble for an excuse. They then pivot a shaky finger between themselves and the cutie patootie in question.
Don't get the wrong idea. Look is like my bursky. Brody, you feel?
Okay. My bad for real, Brody. Nova jests warmly. The crate beside her begins to roll forward as the egg from earlier wraps her attention. To her knowledge, this was none other than the Joy-Con siblings' little brother, Pablo. The little guy springs from the crate and readjusts his hiking gear over his non-existent shoulders. Nova descends to one knee, infatuated with his conscious existence. "And you must be Pablo," she beams. Glitch told all Nova all about you. Boing twice, boing, boing. The egg rummages through his hiking backpack and pulls out a sketchbook that was about a quarter of his size. The air beneath it compresses as Pablo flips through in search of a blank page. In a kiddish manner, Pablo then proceeds to jot down a word or two.
Mucho gusto. Pleased to meet you too, Nova.
Smiley face. A smile creases Nova's face as her hand becomes magnetized over her heart. Aww, she extends a gentle hand and pats the egg over its propeller cap. He slowly but willingly accepts, and in the sparkle text,
"So long as she doesn't touch my god-tier complexion, I guess it's fine."
Glitchers expending all their focus on healing the boy's wounds, pressing their hand wherever the boy commanded them to.
"It hurts there too,"
he groans, as Glitch diligently replies,
"I got it."
And in the sparkle text,
"Stars. How did bro sustain this many injuries in one night?"
Once more, Nova's ears become comedically large as she begins observing this bombastic exchange between Glitch and their broski. And in her head, she thinks, now those two have been acting all fruity with each other ever since they set foot in this room. How could I not get the wrong idea? It got me arming and tapping my chin. Nova stretches her lips to the side of her face and whispers, "So, would you be the sweetest angel and tell me what the hell is the deal between those two?" Pablo begins watching the two of them like they were binging a K-drama, too. Hooking his and Nova's attention back to his sketchbook, he begins scribbling something. Embedding his last question mark, Pablo taps the back of his pen against it.
"No lo sé. I think they're childhood friends, but they have to be in some sort of denial, right?"
You seeing what I'm seeing? Who the hell just intimately presses their friend's hand against their face and acts like it's nothing? Nova's eyes study this premium healing going on between them. Or adding, "Say, does Glitch even realize that man looks perfectly fine? Or, haven't they healed him enough?" In reality, she means that's kind of fine. And in the sparkle text, they healed all my wounds, but they won't stop touching me. It's not like I mind though. Hang on, that sounds really weird. If Glitch don't act fast, I may have to bag him for myself. Pablo turns from left to right to signify, nah. Fishing for a reaction, Nova fixes a hand on her hip and announces spunkily, "Miss Girl, haven't you healed bro enough?" And in the sparkle text,
"Oh shit, I didn't even realize he stopped asking me to heal him."
Glitch turns bright red as the two of them scratch the back of their heads, staring in opposite directions. Eventually, the brown-haired baddie, or Loki, steadies the red Joy-Con's ears as he expresses, "Thanks."
No problem.
Glitch squeaks, unable to look his broski in the eye. It took everything in Nova not to chuckle. Those two got chemistry for real, for real. And switching back over to Loki, in his eyes, wink.
Loki, what the hell are you doing?
I'm sorry, there is something in my eye. Wink. And chirp 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 dot MP3 begins to play. Loki's eyes took a day trip around the Joy-Con siblings' bedroom. There was something about those fairy lights and the unlit bulbs, to the wall with 1,000 drawings in different styles and unfinished sketches, to the open chest filled to the brim with toys that have lost their color. It all felt miserable in a way. A place for them to hide from divinity's glare, as the realm places their blood on a shiny pedestal like the air they breathe. This way of living, it reminded Loki all too well of his room, back when he lived in Inferno. But amidst his many ganderings, his eyes happened upon the windowsill. Your heart begins to race. Don't, 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 don't. And the reader would then see this graphic once more. It's a mug, filled to the brim with forget-me-nots. Loki breathes. You kept them after all this time? Glitch begins to float in front of Loki's face, hanging upside down. They shrug downwards and fix the thumb behind them.
That old thing? I mean, yeah. It's not like I was going to throw it away. Wait, why do you sound so surprised?
No, it's not that, it's just, pausing. Loki catches a faint whiff of, what was it? Macadamia nut from Glitch's breath. Folding his arms, he teases. I guess I'm a little surprised you didn't try this one, like the other division plans I gave you. Glitch chuckles warmly.
Come on, man. You could at least put a little more faith in me.
And in the sparkle text, oh, look at those two bonding. Clicking the door shut, a voice chimes into their conversation. We're back. Everyone redirects their attention to the entrance, and it was Esther standing alongside, the white-haired one. ... You couldn't help but feel a little annoyed that there's other people in the room when you were about to bond over this reminiscent treasure. Almost like she was bottling it in, the lady who beat him with a frying pan steps into the room quietly and releases a loud and audible sniffle. This draws the attention of the round one as she stumbles over to her and cries, You go, girl? Is everything okay? And in the sparkle text, WTF happened out there? And ... Without responding, the girl wraps her long arms around her 5'2" friend as the other embraces her back. As they drew away from each other, Loki could see the white-haired girl mouth, "I'm okay," and she smeared a tear off her eye. Out of the blue, she begins walking up to Loki and bows her head. Glitch's sister fills in for her and says, Meadow here is deeply sorry for beating your ass with a frying pan earlier. And in case it wasn't clear, she's mute. And, okay. You couldn't help but notice something stir inside Pablo as he hears this news. And in the sparkle text,
At long last, someone who just like me for real.
Loki's ears warmed with recognition. So, this was the infernal bodyguard Asterisk mentioned earlier. His eyes glaze over the round one's direction, and she must be the Ali family's daughter. What was her name again? In the corner of Loki's eyes, he studies the blurry apparition of Glitch kneeling beside him. They seemed too fixated over the window to realize that their sister was back in the room. In their words, Loki recites, "So long as you learned your lesson, yeah?" His eyes surveyed Mayday, whose head was still dipped into a bow as she wound upwards, revealing a forced yet painfully awkward grin, before retreating to the other one's side. How I love to see the relationship flower, Blank's adoration, begins to play. Loki didn't care how many blows you took to the face, be it frying pan or a kick in the head. What mattered to him, above all else, was... The incessant giggling causes Loki to crane his neck over his shoulders. His eyes meet with Glitch as he smiles. "Something funny?" he curiously asks. Glitch awkwardly scratches the side of their cheek.
It's just crazy that after all these years, I finally discovered that you were the one who gave these flowers to me.
Loki's hands dive inside his pockets as he steps adjacent to Glitch and slouches. His eyelids descend into a squint as he holds a smolder over the flowers.
The heck are you looking at it like that for?
These flowers look like they haven't been watered in some time. Glitch's eyes shrink into a dot as they blink up to their feet and yelp,
Right, you fucking reminded me.
With haste, they stride into their bedroom with this urgent air about them. Loki chuckles softly, watching them as they struggle to lift the water bucket up to the sink. And in the sparkle text, "Come on, let's not bother those two lovebirds. So Esther, what did you guys uncover?" "Oh boy. You might want to grab a chair, cause you're in for a fucking roller coaster. Don't be upset, but we might have a change of plans for tomorrow's escape episode." "Huh? Why's that?" "Well, you see..." Standing across the room, Loki could hear their voices as clear as day, until Glitch started manhandling a tiny bucket from the bathroom. Did their words begin to blur? He steps out of the way as Glitch murmurs,
Thank you.
and begins drizzling the flowers with water. There's a sort of softness in their eyes and the way they tended to these flowers. Satisfied, they grab a stool and plop themselves over it. They point their elbow against the window frame and rest their cheek against their fists. Loki surveys his surroundings until he whisks an index and pulls the stool below him with his vines. Expecting it to be beneath him by now, he sits over it with confidence, before staying on air and falling over. Glitch wraps a hand over the face, trying not to combust with laughter. Smirk crosses Loki's face as he strokes the air with his index. The vines from earlier bind themselves against the leg of Glitch's stool now, pulls it right under them. Glitch almost falls to their demise, before they hover a mere centimeter away from the carpet and then fall. Holding a competitive smile, Glitch glances over their bucket and manipulates the leftover water through a simple cantrip and sprinkles Loki's face with it. Loki closes his eyes and holds a lit face before returning the favor through prestidigitation and extracting all the droplets from his face and returning it to its sender.
Ugh. Gross.
"You asked for it,"
Oh yeah?
Glitch begins.
What did you ask for? Boo!
And startled, Loki's fingers curl against the carpet. "Why do you look like John Cena?" Blinking back to her normal face, Glitch hovers himself back to their stool and says,
I've been trying to branch out in funny illusions. Impressed?
Loki pretends to contemplate this seriously by wrapping his arms over the stool and thinking to himself, "Not really." I'm kidding. I said I'm kidding.
Ah, so 60 years later and you're just so full of jokes, ain't ya, McGrim Reaper?
Ugh, I forgot you used to call me that.
I mean, come on. Aside the flipping cloak you had earlier?
You put it like that. Loki presses his nose against his arms, too embarrassed to look up, which fills the air with their laughter. Dot 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 dot. I hold eye contact with them. really made it back to Glitch. It feels way too early to celebrate now, but at the same time, am I selfish for wanting to savor this moment? And then the Sparkle text.
Is Bird trying to challenge me to a staring contest? Dot dot dot.
Glitch?
Hey, what's poppin'?
Dot 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 dot.
Dot 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 dot.
You blinked.
Ah! Freaking knew you were trying to challenge me.
Stifling a chuckle, I rest the side of my cheek against my arms as the moonlight gleams into my eyes. Their face, although shaded, was the brightest thing in this room to me. And in the Sparkle text,
Is he challenging me again? Well, I sure as hell won't lose this time.
dot dot dot. And the reader would then see this graphic. Shamelessly enamored, you wink and tell Glitch. Happy 180th birthday, old man. Bright gleam emits from their teeth as warmth begins to spread over Glitch's face.
Thanks, Lucky. Hey, wait a minute. Are we literally the same age?
I bow my head and smile.
Dot dot dot. So, you prepare a gift for me this year, or?
Nah, we're just gonna have to wait until next year.
I'm joking. Wait, really?
Without invitation, the two of them watched those forget-me-nots drip timelessly, enraptured in the quiet company of one another. Dot 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 dot. And in the Sparkle text, crap, I forgot to get Glitch a birthday present. And time skipping, and for whatever reason, the divider here seems to be like a sort of heartbeat sensor. I sincerely wonder what all of that is about. But yeah, switching over to Nova's perspective, in her eyes, get out of here, Loki. I'm not done yet. So, basically, what you're saying is you need me and Mats to buy you some time while you visit the old man, Kronos. In reality, this was Nova trying to continue the group's previous exchange, and definitely not skimming over the fact that the three of them were just eavesdropping on those two the entire time, while chewing on the bitter popcorn Aster drew for them using food coloring. Well, depending on whatever their ship name was, they settled on Loki. What the hell? Nova's theme 2.0 begins to play. Nova trades eyes with her bodyguard to make sure she was A-okay with the plan. Meadow simply purses her lips to one corner of her mouth and gives her a thumbs up. Noting her compliance, Nova checks purr. Okay, we're game. Aster bites the inside of their cheek before stating, okay, but for real this time, there's something I should probably tell the both of you. And one huge lore dump later. At present, Nova and Meadow were standing in that room, now bearing the astronomical weight of everything. And I mean everything the Joy-Con siblings uncovered. On their birthday, no less. Nova's vision becomes hazy. A room full of body parts? And slaughtering folks this entire time? Their stepmom's an imposter? Aster teeters on the soles of their feet, and answers with this nonchalant attitude. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's about it. How could they just say that so casually? Having been there the entire time, Pablo begins to scribble over his sketchbook and shows it to her sister.
Brownie face.
Ah, he's so damn cute. And in the Sparkle text, if anything happens to this egg, I will literally end myself. Noah starts, I can't wrap my head around how she's been keeping this under wraps for years. Who knows what other secrets that butterfly mask is hiding? And Mr. sighs. Okay. Having been informed of all this, can I ask you two something? Of course. And Meadow nods in the Sparkle text. You can ask us anything. Are you sure that you can't come with us to the spirit train? Dot 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 dot. Dot dot dot. If I'm being honest,
Leaving with you guys would mean the entire world to me. But... And when you leave us begins to play. And the reader would then see this graphic that's totally not from Genshin Impact or anything, but, you know. Alicia, all you ever do is run from your problems. You can't run away forever, Fawcett Net 29. I will find you, Requiem. I spent too many past lives running from my fears. But, Nova, Esther starts, as their glazing eyes meet with hers. You wouldn't be running away from your fears. You'd be running away with us. And in the sparkle text, was that too forward? Stars, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And Nova smiles emptily. It's okay, Esther. Putting a spin on her melancholic uptone, she spawns that flamboyancy she usually has and proceeds. If anything, what you said kinda makes me want to stay even more. Huh? What the hell did you say? Glitch hollers from across the room before everyone shushes them. Shh, shh. According to their alarm clock, it was 12:45 in the morning after all. Listen, you two. You guys got a brand new life to look forward to. But as for me, I'm sick and tired of always running away. And hey now. Don't give me those puppy eyes. If anything, what you said merely emboldens my decision to stay here. And with a wicked power like mine... Nova pauses. And the reader would then see this graphic. Then, like a blossoming flower, you unveiled your hands as a mysterious cloud spirals around your hands until finally it coalesces into a floating daffodil. You are partly a daffodil prodigy, and the god of time is your ever-knowledgeable tutor. You can wield your cataclysmic powers in the manifestation of a flower, though the old man has taught you well in practicing a more delicate approach to time manipulation. And daffodils are the demi-bloom of time, aka Cronus' people, which tends to wonder if their powers allow them to stay the same age forever. If I'm going to start a rebellion and pull all the stops against Revere's ass, somebody needs to stay and heal the injured. Wait, Esther interjects. What do you mean, rebellion? Nova and Meadow exchange eyes once more. Reuniting her gaze back to Esther, Nova begins. For a long time, we've been thinking about what we should do after we help the two of you leave, but... Hear me out. What if, just what if, we recreate what the Marigolds did 60 whole years ago? And this comment lures the brown-haired baddie's attention. Hesitant, Gretch asks, what is you cooking, Nova? I'm so glad you asked, Glitch. Here's what I've been thinking. We all know how shitty the realm got after Revere took over, right? Well, there are 5 other reincarnations I think I can convince into joining the rebellion. And in the sparkle text, I don't remember talking about 5. There's Hubert Min. Boy always got us nice stuck in a book about magic whenever we cross paths in the library. I've had the honor of talking with him before, and he has such a wealth of knowledge, where you could tell bro's been itching to use magic the second he left the womb. Then there's my girl, Ikra. I've talked about her before, remember? Rubbing their chin, Glitch asks, ain't that the girl that spilled punch juice on you during last year's gala? And in the sparkle text, parodies are still host stars? Applauding, Nova beans. Yeah, that's the one. Stars, I'm surprised you even remember that. Well, a guardian like her would be a valuable ally to have. She always complains about how free magic used to be, before little Miss Revere took a massive dump on everyone's fun. Speaking of her, her little sister's such an energetic ray of sunshine. Highlight of my day, for real. And then there's my older brother. In the sparkle text. Neutron Ali. He has the same ideals as Ikra, but for him, he can't even stand any of the gods in our kingdom. He's got close ties to the Guardians and even has connections in the lower division. Boy sneaks out every Sunday just to see them. With allies like that, and she clenches her fist, a push from the bottom is sure to get the gears running. But As for the fourth member, I've been thinking about recruiting your uncle. The Joy-Con siblings become wide-eyed. With at least one incarnate on our side, I'm confident we can change the people's minds. Before either sibling could interrupt, Nova motions for them to halt and states, "Let me finish." I'm aware of his condition, trust me. I think that with the incarnate of greed on our side, it could turn things in our favor, if even an incarnate doesn't agree with how things are being run. And in this record text, if that's what Uncle desires, then I guess it can't be helped. But then, what about the lust incarnate? Loki queries. The room becomes idle to Mitama's title drop. Stroking her chin, Nova begins. We were thinking about getting the retainer of all disasters to join our cause, but her gaze veers over the siblings as they sit cross-legged on the carpet, waiting for her to continue. Is it just me, or have I not seen her ass in Paradiso at all? Esther's brow begins to furrow. They looked like they were sifting through the old memory archive. If I remember correctly, Uncle mentioned that Mitama's been preoccupied with some business trips in the mortal realm, but even he hasn't had the chance to talk with her in forever. And the gods are free to traverse in and out of Paradiso through the help of a daisy. And daisies are the demi-bloom of portals. They are capable of opening a gateway to the mortal realm with the help of at least one other daisy. Very few of them exist in Paradiso without any distinguished features that tell them apart from other demi-bloom. And they are often seen in highly surveillanced transportation gateway. Or in the highly surveillanced transportation gateway. Siblings have considered escaping through there, but however, the risks are too high with the amount of background checks you have to get through in order to travel. Who knows? Their brother adds. Maybe she'll show up for tomorrow's ceremony. So, not that I'm nosy or anything, but who was the final candidate you had in mind, if not Mitama? Nova holds her breath for a moment as her eyes reunite with Meadow. And switching over to Meadow's perspective, in her eyes, why is everyone looking at me? Like two peas in a pod, Nova and Meadow's theme begins to play. Nova begins. You haven't told us how you felt about staying. After hearing everything Aster uncovered, she pauses and squeezes Meadow's hand. I know what I'm asking is a heavy burden for you to shoulder. If this isn't what you signed up for, I need you to know that your life is your own. No matter what decision you make, be it by my side or theirs, your girl will support you all the way. No, you have the wrong idea, Meadow anxiously thought. The only reason I haven't been saying anything is because I'm much too used to becoming one with a background, while you do all the talking. Though sometimes I forget. You really do treasure my feelings. That, and I was too lazy to write at the time. ... You really are a good person, Nova. Meadow sifts through her front pocket and pulls out a sticky notepad. And the reader would then see this graphic. What do you choose? Stay by her side or leave with the siblings? If it weren't for you, I might have starved to death in that prison cell. I'm staying by your side not because I feel I have a debt to pay, but because I truly want to. I'll never forgive myself if I never get the chance to cross paths with someone as marvelous as you in another life. Somebody needs to stay behind and help you, and I'm happy, if not grateful, to be that person. To me, this really is a no-brainer. And the reader will then see this graphic. Eventually, her pen dances along the blue notepad as she passes it off to Nova. I'm staying by your side because I want to.
It's not that I feel I have a debt to pay, but because I truly enjoy being in your company. Although it makes me sad to see the siblings go, Meadow thinks. My true calling has always been to be by your side. That, and you promised I'd be your maid of honor whenever you get married. Nova takes the sticky note and tweets it aloud. I'm staying by, I want to. It's not that I to pay, but because I truly enjoy being in your company. Her hand gravitates over her mouth as a tear twinkles in her eye. Whew. Whatever you say, girly pop, she croaks, fanning her eyes. Meadow passes her a handkerchief and shrugs and smiles warmly. She takes a second to read through and nudges Nova's shoulder with her elbow before fanning a hand over her mouth and pretending to yawn. Whew. Okay, we should probably let y'all sleep. It's been a long day, and she then stretches towards the ceiling and repeatedly taps the palm over her lips, emitting a type of yawn before proceeding. You girls are ready to get the best honk shoot of her life.
But then, what about the plan? Glitch asks, snapping awake.
Don't you worry about that. The two of us will come up with something to buy you guys time before your little mates come barging in here. Meadow observes the relief wash over the siblings' faces after Nova declares this. Then, like the twins they are, they express in unison. Thanks, you too.
Can't I just hypnotize them if one of them walks in? Loki asks, and Nova ponders this.
If it comes down to it, that'll be our last resort. Can't risk nobody seeing you, especially with all that bustle and hustle that goes on in these halls during events like these. Meadow bows politely, ready to exit stage left as she idles adjacent to the Hawaii portrait. Following her cue, Nova remarks, "It's about time me and Matt start heading back." She then proceeds to rehearse her classic monologue as she slowly but surely makes her way towards the painting. Buenos nachos, sleep well, don't let the bed bugs bite, don't choke on it off, don't trip on an apple, don't get ran over by a car, you know the drill. Genova retreats inside the passageway. Meadow follows suit. But as she begins to hoist her other leg inside, the sibling's little brother, Pablo, catches her eye as he waddles before the portrait and bounces for her attention. He waves a shredded piece of paper over the entrance for her to grab, and she happily reads it.
I think you're really cool. I'm mute, too.
Meadow presses a hand over her mouth on the verge of sobbing. What does the note say? Nova asks, peeking past Meadow's arm. I think you're really cool. I'm mute. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Meadow rounds up all the scattered emotions in her brain and breathes softly. She lowers her hand then and waveringly mouths, "Thank you." As the inseparable bunch waves their final goodbye to the surrounding crew, they close the canvas behind them and retreat back to their quarters. And the reader would then see this graphic once more. Nova and Meadow have left their party. And in their eyes, we switch back over to Glitch.
Yo, it's been a while, hasn't it? Glitch was sprawled over their bed with a million thoughts and what-ifs swirling inside their head. Their red Joy-Con size already dreading how tomorrow might play out. Deep down, they knew that tomorrow was going to be a very long day, but before the chapter can end, Loki sticks his head over Glitch and asks, "So, where should I sleep?" Not wanting to think too hard about it, Glitch rubs their eyes and says, "You can sleep on my bed."
"But then, where would you sleep?"
Now, who said I was surrendering my bed? ...
Are you sure? I mean, I don't mind sleeping on the floor,
I've gotten a lot taller and don't want to occupy too much space. Dude, Glitch whines. Just get in the fucking bed.
Losing their temper, they slide underneath their comforter and aggressively pat the pillow adjacent to them. And in the sparkle text, they forgot how aggressive Glitch gets whenever they're sleepy. Without complaining, Loki unequips his armor and joins Glitch in bed. And in the sparkle text, say, are there rainbows in the room, or is it just me, Pax?
I ship it. I ship it so hard.
Curling their legs to their chest, Glitch bats one eye open and groggily mutters,
Good night, Grimsby. Grimsky.
Buenas noches. Da 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 da. Okay, where was I? As the stars come out to play and the fireflies play tag, Paradiso idles in slumber, blissfully unaware of what disasters lie at tomorrow's ceremony. And in the next page, a dreamscape appears. Enter the dream, yes or no. So, okay, that would be the end of this chapter. I will record or put like a separate recording for the dreamscape or the hidden memory bank that we're about to delve into. But yeah, just thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.